Hello and happy St. Patty's Day. I had a question today from somebody. They asked me, okay, you got bags and you got putters, but do you have wedges? Well, that's made me realize that I had not posted anything on wedges here. So I'm going to do a wedge thing today. I'm going to try to point out some things, a little bit of things anyway. Some of the major, God, there's so many major. I tell you what I found as I was going through is that, Wilson used to make some great stuff. Here's like a Sandy Andy. Just I don't think I have any more, but just this one. But the R series of the Wilsons, it's kind of where I think it began in my eyes. I mean, don't get me wrong, Hogan's uh, and I'm going back old school. And then here's something too. When you're looking at the Ping I2s, you get the XG that stands for grooves, a certain type of groove that they have. I mean, that's a little bit I know about that. It's a sick. What is this one? I think it's sick. Wilson staff always make good stuff. You got funky stuff like this, a rake, and some of them will have some very crazy faces, very rough faces that'll just tear your ball up. Which look at this bad boy, 68 degree. I think I have a 70 in here someplace. There's an 80. You don't normally see. I don't even know if they're legal actually. I think 60. I don't know if I'd use anything more than 60, although, I got quite a few 64s and as you've seen, a 68 and an 80. Just open it up, right? I mean, what the heck? Probably one of the biggest ones out there to me is a Vokey. The title is Vokeys. And then the Ping, which is sitting right here with this one. I mean, I have some of the Ping Glide 3s, 2s, 1s, and other stuff hanging out up there. I have them segregated because of value. I think that's the main reason for it. And then back here, I got some of the old school stuff that I segregated. That just nice shape old Wilsons. Oh, the R90s. A lot of R20s and R90s are hanging out in here. But Dan's Shoot, I believe that is. Mill, just gorgeous old school wedge, right? And then, well, we won't go into those. Well, these are kind of cool. I guess I will. Back here, some of the tailor-made stuff that get this thing in there right. So, so here's a 60, but you see how it has the screws. Well, the screws take off the face. You can replace the face. I have some of the faces, and a number of those sitting back there. Here's just a head, and I got a bunch of just heads. Since I mentioned that, I'm going to get off track here a little bit. But got a collection of, oh, where are they? They're in here someplace. Oh, the Hopkins. There it is. The Hopkin heads. I got a bunch of heads that are not shafted. Um, you know, some people desire those, and they're kind of cool. Say the least. Here's some more of the old school stuff. R90s again, PGA, sand irons, which would be the older Ram, Wizard. Um, let's see, shoot sand irons. Another word for. And you got sand foil. The idea is to get through the sand or water better. Was at one point. I do like some of these. Will tell you, well, not this one in particular, but sometimes they'll tell you how far they go. Right? Let's say here's some old Stan Thompson stuff, but they'll say, they get. What the heck is this doing off? Oh, it belongs one of my clubs. Anyway, okay. So more of the wedges in here. There's some more over here, and the beryllium ones. There's a Titleist BQ beryllium copper, right? 52. Little worth a little more because of what they're made out of. And the milled is always important. They got the old. I don't want to say old, but these old. They're old Callaways. Here's what they used to do though. They used to show you like 100 yards or less for this first wedge, which is a 52 degree, and then here's a third wedge, which is 59 degrees, and it says 40 yards or less. I kind of like how they did that. These are old hickory stick setups in there. Okay, so let's go to the wedge room. Here's some old school stuff, wedges that well, mainly wedges in here that I pulled from Spalding. So that says A.G. Spalding brothers. That tells you, they're pretty old, top flight Spalding. Not that another AG one in there. I am going to go this route though. Okay, so these are all wedges in here, and they vary. I try the bags are together a little bit, like Arnold Palmer and Spalding's are in this one. Memento's kind of a training heavier type thing. Some of you guys will know what those are. Tide Lights, Adams, Golf, right? And then you got the Ben Hogan's. Got quite a few of the Ben Hogan's. You can see Ben Hogan. Then you got some of the Pings coming out there. And then you got Nikes. I didn't show that up front. The Nikes are the Tiger Wood Nikes and stuff. I got them pulled because they don't make them. They couldn't make them in 2016. So they carry a little more value, or they keep their value well. So TaylorMade stuff. And then there's some Lynx and Warriors, is Cleveland, Callaway. The rusty ones are worth something. They're the ones that a lot of people actually want. They got a little more bite to them, and they're made out of, what is the one over? Is it here? Yeah, these are the Bridgestone. I don't have that many of the Bridgestone, but the WC series. Oh, they got what they call. Where's that banner on that one? Is it this one? I can't find it. Huh. Well, one of these. No, I'm not seeing it. So it has what they call liquid copper. I think that's one way of putting it. Liquid copper. So what they got going on here, it's some kind of mild steel, and then they put this liquid copper over it. And the grooves are always the important part to me. I think the bite that you get from it. That's going to focus in. You can see how it's cut there, and it'll grab your ball and make it spin, right? Of course, that's what these are all, these try to be about. This whole group here, the Pure Spin guys, Bobby Jones by Jesse Ortiz. All right, a few of the links. Phil is another one. F-E-E-L. What's this Robbie one? What is that? I forget. Well, usually if they're copper, there's even Wilson and a lob wedge copper, right? And then I'm going to come back over here because probably what I have the most of, I don't have that many Cobras. I don't know, 20 or so, but compared to like the staffs, which, some beautiful old staffs in here. It's gorgeous stuff. And, sometimes when they have like RM on it and things like that, I showed you some of those up front. Sandy Andy's a big one, but I only have very limited supply of those. But what I probably have the most of are the Clevelands. This is what's here, plus in storage. And a lot of these are the rusty, and a lot of people like the Clevelands, so it's a good thing. I do have a lot of those. Titleist would come in next, and I think a lot of people's book, TaylorMade's in there, Callaway's in there, don't get me wrong. But, so there's some Titleist there. There's the Cleveland. And what you can't see in here is a bunch more, I didn't bring them out, but there's a bunch more Clevelands in there. And mainly that rusty group. These offset ones, some people like these. The F2 series wedges. Good to get them in set. There's some Titleist up here, but the Vokies, personally, some of my favorites, but it's all relative. There's so many good ones. So actually right now in my bag, I have the old Callaway hickory sticks, with the faces are milled on there too. So that's what I currently have. Mizuno. A lot of Mizunos are very popular. Again, more of the Titleist coming out in here. Some of the Hogan's, Staff. Yeah. But again, you got to remember when you're looking at these Nikes, they don't make them anymore. Pings tend to carry their value very well, and I showed you some of the Pings up front. I didn't show you the Tiger Woods on the Nike stuff, though. Let's see, when they got this going on, they're not doing that anymore, so these are segregated for that reason. Yeah. stamping on there as well. But okay, so yes, I have wedges, and I didn't even scratch the surface, but we'll end it here where I started. That's enough for that. 10 minutes.